Let's start out with the first pro, and that's going to be the seats. I love how comfortable these F Sport seats are, and I feel like this is going to translate through to the other LX models, but these seats make this a non-fatiguing driving experience. There's so much lumbar support here. Another pro is going to be this engine and just how quick it is. So I know the 0 to 60 is rated to do around 6.9 seconds. 130 miles an hour is the top speed. However, it feels much quicker than that when you're on the throttle. In fact, the best way to drive this is to just ease into the throttle pedal and surge off, if you will. That way you get to experience effortless thrust. It just builds power so quickly from those twin turbochargers. Now, a con with this engine is the fact that it's nowhere near as smooth as the old 5.7 V8 that this replaces. I feel a lot more vibrations coming through the pedals, the throttle pedal, and even through the steering wheel, which I just totally did not get with the old 5.7 liter V8. Another con is going to be with this transmission. It has potential, like I've tried the LC500 with the 10-speed and it's amazing. However, it's a different application, I understand that, but this particular 10-speed, the main issue with it is software programming. I feel like it just feels inconsistent. That's the main issue with this 10-speed automatic. Sometimes it reacts kind of quickly, and in other times it just gives me like a crazy delay. Now I get it, you can put it into the Sport Plus mode, but driving in Sport Plus, total waste of time because it's so uncharacteristic for this vehicle to just be hovering around 2,000 RPMs, vibrating all the time. You know, you're just wasting fuel driving like that. However, once you put into the comfort mode, there's two reasons to drive in comfort mode. The RPMs go down dramatically, and it's just a much smoother and more elegant driving experience because of that, but also this is going to be another pro. The comfort mode does make this vehicle ride a lot better. It's still not perfect, and this is the con. You still have like these undulations and this jostling effect when you go over a variety of bumps. You just move around more, and that's not good for a six-figure vehicle. This is $105,000. The way you see it stickered here for this F Sport model, way too much money. But I guess I can give it some slack because this is a true off-roader. You know, they've maintained all of the old LXs and Land Cruiser off-road capabilities. It all translates over here, and somehow, even though this is an all-new GAF global architecture, it's still body on frame. It's not the most refined, if you will, and I kind of noticed this with the Tundra as well. It wasn't the best in terms of ride quality. Now, I will say this F Sport comes with 22-inch forged wheels. These wheels are massive. I mean, if you got the 20-inch wheels or even the 18-inch wheels that comes with the appearance package, that's going to be much better for the ride quality because you feel all the smaller bumps, and I feel like if you got the 18-inch wheels, you wouldn't feel those smaller bumps as often. The larger bumps, this vehicle actually does a pretty good job absorbing that, strangely enough. Another pro is going to be how quiet this vehicle is. This utilizes very thick double pane glass, almost like Rolls-Royce thick in terms of the glass they use up here. The rear glass is still double paned, however, it's not quite as thick as what they use up here. Now, past 75 miles an hour, you will get some wind noise still, but it's not too dramatic. I think you can get over it. It's not that bad. It's still a very quiet machine, all things considered. Another pro is going to be with the steering rack. I like the steering wheel as well. It's really well sized. It's on the smaller side, which gives it kind of a direct and nimble feel. There's no play in the steering like the old hydraulic systems, right? This new electronic steering rack, in my opinion, is definitely an improvement. It makes it very easy to drive. It tightens up and it gets heavier when you're driving at a higher speed, but it gets much lighter around city speeds and when you're off-roading. Now, let's talk about the interior. So the infotainment is both a pro and a con. I do like the upper 12.3-inch screen. I think it's easy to use. I think it's pretty elegant, not really an issue. However, the 7-inch screen down below is totally unnecessary. They just have it here just to say that they have a 19.3-inch display, but in my opinion, the best infotainment that Lexus has produced is that new 14-inch display. I really like that new touchscreen that they featured in the Tundra and the NX. That was so great, so easy, one of the best. The 12.3-inch system is kind of based on that, but the 7-inch screen, really not necessary here. But it's not terrible, I can live with it. So it's neither a pro or a con. I do like the Climate Concierge button. I think that's fantastic. You press it, and whatever temperature you have the climate control set at, the vehicle will automatically adjust all your heated and cooled seats and your heated steering wheel and the fan speeds and everything. It'll do all of that for you. Another pro with this interior space is just the great build quality that Lexus is known for. It carries over, it's fantastic. There's no creaks and rattles, even though there's some plastics being used, like scratchy, harder plastics down below and this kind of plastic material up top here. It's all put together extremely well for the most part, so I do like that. Lexus build quality still continues here. A con is going to be this wireless charging pad. For whatever reason, when I have my phone on it, it'll charge initially and then it'll just disconnect somehow. I experienced the same exact thing with the Tundra. No idea why. The rear seats, massive con. Again, it's a body on frame vehicle. I experienced a lot of these things with the full-size Range Rover, the previous generation, because the new one has been redesigned. However, the full-size Rover I tested before had the same issues, like we have limited legroom space in the back here, much like that full-size Rover, and your knees kind of sit up a little bit higher when you sit in the back. So not ideal for adults, but it is what it is. The third row seats, not really that useful. It's only really meant for kids or to be used in a pinch. And the other problem is once you have the third row seats up, there's absolutely no space in the back to put any grocery shopping or anything like that. So you have to have those third row seats down, unlike in the Tahoe, where there's plenty of space even with the third row seats up. The Tahoe, in my opinion, has a much better designed interior space, right? It utilizes the space much better than this vehicle. But we have great things like this seating position, which is excellent. Huge pro with it. It's very easy to see out of this vehicle. I love the mirrors, everything about it, great. The ML audio system, the Mark Levinson, surprisingly, it's a con. I have no idea why it doesn't sound as good as the LS500 or the LC500, which is a coupe. I have no idea why this sounds kind of muddled, but it does. I mean, yeah, it's got some bass and things, but it's not ideal, if you will, the sound quality. So that kind of yeah, that bothered me. I'm not sure why, because I really do love the Mark Levinson audio system in the other vehicles, even the ES, the RX. Sounds amazing in those vehicles. I have no idea what's going on here. And of course, concluding thoughts, I mean, it's the price that you mainly have to get over with this vehicle. If you can stomach the price, if you like the way it looks, I mean, get it. It's not a bad vehicle by any means. I think most people, if they bought it, they would actually enjoy it, but these are the pros and cons that I noticed with this particular vehicle, so take it for what you will. Check out my full review on this vehicle for all my detailed thoughts and specs. If you want to see all that, it's going to be on the end screen here, and I'll see you there.